If Datadol has 100 fans, then I am one of them. If Datadol has one fan, then I am that fan. And if Datadol has no fans, then I am dead. Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank. I hope that you are having a great day, and in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my fairly comfortable and squeaky chair, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you guys about flesh and blood. That's right. It has been a little while now since I have last talked about Fab, one of my favorite TCGs ever. And it's also been a little while since I have had a conversation about the newest Fab format, Silver Age. Sage, the format that seems to be sweeping the entire game by storm. And it is really good. In the months since it was officially adapted as a proper format, I've had a lot of opportunities, chances to actually play the format, give it a try, see what I think about it, try out some different decks, janky and otherwise. And I've got to say, it's a lot of fun. So in today's video, on the off chance that you are either A, someone completely new to Flesh and Blood, which understandable, there's plenty of people out there who have not tried the game, or B, if you are a Fab fan who has for some reason not tried Silver Age yet, I'm going to try to use this video to give you 5 pretty solid reasons to at least give the format a try. Now, before we begin, just so you guys are aware, these aren't like the 5 best reasons to try it, but when I was thinking like reasons I like the format, these are the 5 things that did come to mind. So if you're like me, these are things that might persuade you to go out there and give old Sage a try. And with all of that said, let us begin with what I think is the biggest factor that a lot of people account for, and that is the price tag. And let me be very clear here. Very clear. Silver Age is cheap. Wow, car passing through, or maybe that's a motorcycle. That is 3 motorcycles. Okay. So, it's no big secret that Flesh and Blood, like any TCG, can be really expensive, with a lot of the higher end Majestics and Legendary cards, some of which can be very much required for decks in CC to run, Classic Constructed. Some of those cards can be very expensive. A great example I always like to bring up is Findle's Spring Tunic, which is very much a staple card that ever since the beginning of the game, people have loved to play just because of how solid it really is. That card has had plenty of reprints over the years and is still like $100. Sure, you only need one of those in a deck. It is an equipment piece after all. But combine several important pieces of equipment plus several Majestic and other high-end staples for the deck itself, and you have a format like CC that can quickly become ludicrously expensive. Shuffle over to Sage, meanwhile, and you have competitively viable decks that are very affordable, many of which are under $30. In fact, when I say competitive, I mean it. There are decks that frequently get into top 8s and even top 4s that are under like $30. That's crazy to me. Like the fact that you can have competitively viable decks for that cheap for less than the cost of a booster box. That's really good to me. That reminds me a lot of the Pokemon competitive scene in a way, where you can build a really good Pokemon deck for fairly cheap as well. Now, sure, you can always bling out these Silver Age decks and have them super shiny and have them be expensive if you want to be the kind of person who does show off all your shiny cool stuff in your deck. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're just looking to try the format out, $20 to $30 may be all you need to get a really strong deck going and really give it a good, earnest try. So I'll leave it at that. It is a very cheap, very affordable format to get into, which is just always nice. Thing number 2 that I really consider and really like about the format is there's so much variety. There are loads of heroes to choose from, loads of classes that are totally viable, totally playable. Remember earlier when I was saying that there's cheap decks that can get into top 4 and top 8 of events? Well, there's also a lot of variety of what can get into the top 4 and top 8 of events. Wizards, ninjas, assassins, mechanologists, my personal favorite class, if we're being honest. And even heroes that some people tend to like turn their noses up towards and discount as not being all that solid, even those ones will make some surprise showing as at events. There was, in fact, a Tekla Vossen list that got into a top 8. Uh, I think just over the weekend. Crazy stuff. Or I suppose just over the weekend. I'm recording this Saturday night, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Um, Recently, it happened recently. So there's a lot of heroes to try, a lot of classes to shift through, and this kind of compounds with the previous point. You know, the fact that there's so many heroes to choose from and try out, the fact that they're all kind of cheap to assemble, or at least most of them are super cheap to assemble. You can build a deck for the cheap, give a hero a try for a few weeks, see what you think about it, and then move on to something else if you want to try something else. Often at very low costs, especially if you're someone like me who has a lot of bulk lying around. Because guess what? There's a lot of bulk that's super totally playable in Sage, and I'm a guy who has a lot of bulk. Sage is a fun format for people who like bulk. uh, Reason number 3 is more of a personal one, but it might resonate with you, and that is the time of the rounds themselves. Silver Age being a smaller deck size, a lower life total. LSS has official rounds being shorter than those of other formats like CC. And this might not seem like a huge deal, but shaving off 10 to 15 minutes a round at major events can really be a huge time saver in the long run, and can lead to more free time at events, more time for games or trading, or going around spotting cool deals in the vendors around events and at local scenes. It can allow you to squeeze in more games on game night. You know, there is something, I think, to be said of the ability to have more games and play with more people, because the games themselves are shorter. That there's just a nice benefit to it. Shorter games means you have more time to do other things at the venue, or just play other rounds of Sage with other friends of yours, which I just think is really nice. And then the final 2 are, I suppose these ones are more like vibe feelings. The first one is, there's clearly a lot of design space and attention being paid to the format by LSS. We're all aware at this point of the pre-cons that they have put out, 2 waves so far, with Blaze, I think, getting her own dedicated deck soon. I think the Blaze deck is coming out soon. That's going to be really cool. A lot of people are excited about that. I'm not, because she's a wizard, and I hate wizards so much. But yeah, a lot of attention is being given to sets going forward. LSS has made it very clear that they're consciously designing sets going forward with Sage in mind. They are designing some of their products with Sage in mind. And they clearly have a strong desire at the company to support Sage, which feels in stark comparison to how they were going with Blitz. A bit of a controversial take here, but I do not think that LSS had the strongest desire to super support Blitz as an independent format, at least not after the beginnings of the game. It was there. We had young heroes since the start. Blitz was definitely a thing, but it felt like as time wore on, there was less and less interest from LSS in supporting Blitz. Maybe that's just my own opinion on the matter, but it definitely did not feel like it was a high priority of theirs. So seeing how devoted they are to Sage from the very start with its own dedicated lineups and all that jazz, it feels nice. And I hope it continues. That's all I'm going to say on that. And then second, the final thing, not second thing, the final thing I want to say is that it's growing. It's a growing format, and that's always nice to see. When more people are playing it, there's more opportunities to reach out, make friends, get some games in, and just overall have a fun time. And I'm not just meaning from a competitive standpoint either. Yes, Sage is a competitive, viable format. There are events for it and all that jazz, and that's great. And there are more people playing it and getting into the game for it all the time. But it's also a nice casual format, again, because of the variety, the cheapness of the decks, the how quick it is to pick up and play. There's a lot of people who just want to play it casually with their friends, and those casual groups continue to grow from what I've seen, with lots of people, especially locally, who weren't all that interested in even trying Flesh and Blood, at least giving Sage a shot, and I think that's really cool. So there's lots of love from the community as it grows too. There are people I personally know who play Flesh and Blood who weren't even willing to give Blitz a shot. And Blitz was again like the precursor to Sage, but now that Sage is here as a full format, they're really liking it. They're really having a lot of fun with it. And it's not just players, it's well, it is players, but there's also people who otherwise wouldn't play the game. Collectors of Flesh and Blood who've been trying Sage out and have been having a blast. Stores, where the store owner has been giving it a shot, and I thought that was really nice. Where some store owners, locally and abroad that I've talked to, have been like, "Yeah, Sage is pretty nice. Liked it. I liked playing it. That's really cool." So it is a growing format with a growing community of people who are super fond of it, and that can be enticing in its own way. Trading card games are themselves community experiences, so growing communities can be an enticing reason to try anything out. And if you're someone like me who just wants to get out there and play games and make friends, well, then a new format that is rapidly growing, from what I can tell, may be enough to entice you to at least give it a shot. So yeah, it's cheap. There's a lot of decks to try. There's not a whole lot of time to invest in the game. You can just get a quick round in and move on with your day. There's clearly a lot of support coming for it, and it's growing. Those are 5, in my opinion, good reasons to give the format an earnest shot, and I do like it a lot. So with all of that said, thank you guys very much for watching to the end. Please like, share, subscribe, and all that good jazz. Leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree with me on whether or not Sage is a good format. I personally love it, but if you don't, I'd like to hear why in the comment section below. Check out the Discord and the Patreon, and the TCG player link in the description below. And yeah, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.